I just realized I'm filming. Hey y'all, como no ye? How you doing, my friend? Does it make sense to even do the intro anymore? Let's do it. Allo, bonsoir. I'm the Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième Chanel moi. Welcome to another video. We do have another KRIK KRAK. And let me just say, right, like shout out to those of you guys who have been promoting all of my shit. I appreciate it more than anything. I just founded my nonprofit, La Cairo. It's a dance-based nonprofit. We are doing classes every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Belleville, New Jersey. So shout outs to you if you signed up, if you plan on coming, and shout outs to all of you guys who showed up for the compa classes last month. Like, I appreciate it more than anything. Of course, if you cannot support, please make sure you guys just send in a donation. Anything helps, as I am trying to start a summer intensive program for children and adults, and I'm trying to make it as cheap, or better, the goal is to make it 100% free, okay? But as cheap as possible. Of course, Haitian Heritage Month is around the corner. Make sure you get your merchandise. This is I did it for my ancestors design. Shout out to those of you guys who have already purchased. And if you're seeing my lovely face for the first time, or you're confused because you've seen my lovely face on another channel, we do have multiple channels. Everything is right here on the screen through your lovely QR code. Make sure you guys follow me on the gram for more content. Of course, per usual, when I say KRIK, you guys comment down below KRAK, because you always act like you ain't got shit to comment. Hype the video, like the video, subscribe, comment, do something. At least one. It'd be great if you did all, but at least do something, all right? If you have stories that you would like to share, make sure you send them right here. Make them anonymous. Please proofread. I'm not reading shit that I can't read no more, because it's frustrating for me and it's frustrating to the audience. So let's get into these two. They're a little bit shorter. A visit from Papa Legba. Greetings, Queen. You can call me Leon. I work in the gas industry here in Atlanta, Georgia, as a gas meter inspector. I won't mention the company name, but let's get into the story. One day, I had several gas meters to inspect in South Georgia, out in the countryside. One of the meters was located on school grounds, but this school sat on the same land as a cemetery. Why the fuck do people do that? Why would you build a school on a cemetery? It's just like when I see houses that are like behind cemeteries, it's like absolutely not. Can you imagine the type of spiritual activity that is more than likely happening every single day? Like, no. The meter I needed to inspect was at the gymnasium complex, which was separate from the main high school building, but still on the cemetery grounds. While I was inspecting the meter, a man walked by with a limp, wearing a black trench coat and a red baseball cap. He looked at me and said, "How you doing, my friend? Everything good?" I replied, "Everything is good. Everything is good." At the time, my back was facing him, but my head was turned to his direction just for a moment, then went back to work. He walked past me heading down the street. Then something strange came over me. It felt like a cold breeze swept through my body. I stopped working, turned around, and watched him walk away. Something inside me wanted to shout out, "Papa Legba," but the words never left my mouth. They were only in my mind. After I finished the inspection, I jumped in my truck and drove down the street to see if I really saw him or if I was tripping, but he was nowhere to be found. This happens a lot. This happens to so many people, especially when it comes to Papa Legba. I don't know what type of schedule Papa Legba has. Maybe he got a Calendly or some sort of Google Workspace type of shit, because it's like I've heard so many people talk about seeing Papa Legba. Okay, and I just be sitting there like this shit is wild, because I've only had maybe one encounter with him, and it was actually close to a crossroad. And it was because apparently he had a message for me. It was this entire thing. I don't remember if I got the message or not. Did I? No, I ended up getting the message. I guess he had to come to me in my dreams, because I'm the type of person, I'm very mundane before magical. I'm never the type of person to just think everything is magical. So the spirits hate me because they'll give me all these signs, and I'm like, not specific enough. So they had to send a friend. It was this whole thing. But I seen him one time near a crossroad. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was so crazy. It was to the point where like I literally hopped in my car to see if I really saw that shit or not. And same occurrence. I never saw the person again. Now, weird enough, right? This person, I don't want to say it seemed like they was following me. That's not what it was, because I thought it was a real person, because it wasn't my first time seeing the person. And at the time, it was when I lived like closer to South Jersey, and it was a place that I used to visit. It was very It was an inactive train track. I used to go there all the time because I like train tracks. I have an affinity for trains. If you don't know me, or especially if you haven't been watching me forever, you probably wouldn't know this. Almost all of my old intros, especially on my main channel, were train related. I did not purposely do this. I just happen to really like trains, and I'm in Jersey. There's lots of trains. I have one of my birthday shoots. I think it was my 24th or my 25th. It was done by a train. Like or by train tracks, I should say, rather. I really like trains. I have affinity for trains. So yeah, this is a very common occurrence where people will see Papa Legba just for a moment. Sometimes it's to deliver a message. Sometimes it's just for comfort. Just sometimes it's just for shits and giggles. There's a lot of different reasons. So I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if you actually did see him. All right, let's get into this next one. Hi, Yvana. If you're reading this, I hope you know that I love your content. Thank you so much. Growing up as a Haitian American Christian, I haven't been in touch with my culture as I wanted to. Shit, even my parents barely speak Creole to me. That's fucking nuts. Uh, I'm sorry you had to go through that. But I've always had pride for my culture and its history. Though I demonize Haitian voodoo due to Christianity, I still acknowledge its importance within Haitian culture. I'm going to tell you a bit about my story from one spiritual person to another. I just want your perspective. Ever since I was born, I have been hyper imaginative, always lost in my own head and constantly creating things within my mind. That's me. Welcome. Examples are imaginary friends, scenarios, stories with unique characters, etc. I didn't do the stories and scenarios, but I had a lot of imaginary friends. Well, they were actually spirits, but hey. When I was in middle school, I decided to take Christianity seriously. So I gave my life to Christ. I considered my imaginative tendencies as a bit sinful, so I demonized it. That's unfortunate, especially since, I mean, you're calling them imaginary. Are they imaginary or are they spiritual gifts? For me, I always thought they were imaginary, but then they ended up being spiritual gifts. But why would you demonize your own imagination? That's kind of sad. Imagination is great, especially if you're creative. My imagination and my faith in God were kept separate for years, up until a traumatic knee injury, sophomore year of high school. This event changed me in more ways than I can fathom. But one thing it did was start the beginning of integration of my imagination and my faith in God. During this time, I was constantly making art. A lot of my art pieces involved eyes. I was fascinated by eyes, but had no idea why. However, my senior year, I finally realized what the eye was. My imagination and my imagination and my belief in God combined, causing me to have a profound spiritual awakening, and I no longer consider myself a Christian. That's very interesting. I've had a lot of people in my life personally actually come to that conclusion, or just come to the conclusion that they believe God doesn't exist. I don't believe that. I think God exists. God is here. God is everywhere, and God is all around. It's just the other stuff. Where I'm like, I don't know. It's very interesting though. Now, for some context, my father has always been a Christian with spiritual abilities, which I'm sure is common in Haitian families. Very. Once freshman year, my life was in danger. I was in a situation with a gun involved, and my father, who was miles away, instantly knew I was in danger due to the Holy Spirit. When my father was younger, he practiced Haitian voodoo with his family. At some point, the whole family swapped from voodoo to Christian faith now. Now back to my spiritual awakening. I was fascinated with magic. I watched videos on Haitian voodoo, chaos magic, Kabbalah, hoodoo, African spirituality, etc. But instead of tapping into other established beliefs, I simply just trusted my imaginative tendencies, and the I was fascinated with after my knee injury was actually a deity. He is my God. Who? I just had a flashback. The eye. Now I'm gonna have to try to find this as I edit. There was a show that I used to watch, and one of the spirits manifested into an eye. I said, "What type of fucking shit is this? That shit was scary as fuck." I will post it. It was just a bunch of eyes. And I was like, this is kind of creepy and kind of scary. There actually might be a name for it. Hopefully, it comes in here. He's powerful. He has always existed. He dwells within a dimension called Eden, where my conscious originates from. I believe that before I was born on earth, my consciousness was in Eden. This I God has an ability to wield a certain type of energy that follows his powerful will. I have the same ability I've always had, ever since I was born. I was heavily linked to my imaginative habits, but I became fully awakened to the ability after my spiritual awakening. There are countless other deities and beings within Eden that I'm connected to. And I have supernatural things on earth with this energy from Eden. One of them being elemental control, but I don't want everyone knowing too much of my business. I also had an experience where I was constantly seeing the Haitian Vev. Oh, or a Haitian Vev, I guess they meant. Every time I closed my eyes, although I was inspired by the art style, the fact that the symbols helped me with my abilities tells me that there was more going on that night than just a creative spark. It was a Halloween night. I don't practice Haitian voodoo. I definitely believe the spirits acknowledge me due to my lineage. So, as someone who's spiritual like you, Yvana, what's your opinion on this whole story? Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's real? I just want your opinion. Keep on posting. You're doing amazing work. Thank you so much. I love all the kind words. They help me feel like I'm actually doing something. I actually believe your experience is very real because your story sounds similar to mine and sounds similar to most people. For the most part, a lot of kids have imaginations. You have the gift of being able to create shit into existence. I also I don't talk about it often, but your mind is very powerful. I feel like everyone's mind is very powerful, but some people have the gift of literally speaking things into existence. I'm one of the people that is very, 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 like, I have to be very careful about my energy and very careful about my intentions, because when I think, feel, or see things too strongly, they happen. Like almost every fucking time. I'm talking about car accidents happening right in front of me. I'm talking about people ending relationships abruptly because it's like, but I also, it's weird because I also have the gift of dreams and gift of discernment, which, like, I feel like all of it goes hand in hand. Like most of the time I know when something's going to happen, but it's different from me imagining things. There are times where I just imagine things happening so strongly to the point where it does happen, and then there's times where I know something's going to happen and it's like, I don't even need to think about it. I just wait and see, babes. Same thing with the dreams. There's a lot of times I have dreams and they end up happening. But I feel like with my dreams, it's more of premonitions and more of like, oh, a foreshadowing of something that can happen. Sometimes I'm able to stop it, or sometimes it's not, like, it has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with a friend or a family member, and I'm supposed to be warning them. So I feel like all of this is really real. And I'm happy for you because you found your true calling, your true belief system, and you didn't let anyone indoctrinate you. I feel like a lot of people are indoctrinated into whatever it is that they were born into, whether it is Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like there has to come a point in your adult life where you start questioning, right? Where you start saying, is this what I believe in, or is this what I was taught or made to believe in? Or do I believe in something else? I think it's totally okay to believe in something else, whether that be jumping from Christianity to Islam, or becoming a voodooist and you were a Buddhist, or getting into Santeria but you were into shamanism, or you were into witchcraft and now you're Christian. I feel like it's just important to question. What is your belief system? What do you believe and why? And that's where the true power is. Spiritual has a lot to do with a lot of who you are and who you end up becoming. And I feel like it's important to have like some sort of spiritual something. Shit, even if it's occult, okay, maybe you're into that. Even though a lot of people might frown upon that, like, I just feel like whatever it is that your spiritual calling is, and truly meant to be, is a big part of who you are. So thank you so much for sharing. I do think it is real. Okay. And I also think that there's more for you out there. There's something going on. And you're more than likely going to have the same spiritual gifts as your father. I don't know why your family stopped practicing voodoo, but that's very common in Haitian culture. And I can't even say uses voodoo for bad, excuse my language, technically uses black magic in conjunction to voodoo to do harm to people, and then all of a sudden everyone's Christian. A lot of times that's really what it is. It's a lot of times it's a cover and they still practice, or there's other times where they're hiding from something or running from something they did or something that someone did to them, and they think that converting is going to do anything. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it just hops to the next lineage, and before you know it, crazy shit starts happening. So I think you might have the same gifts as your father, and it's going to be interesting to see. I would love to hear from you again. I would love to see you right back. This was nice and easy to read. It was a great story. I could relate to it. And I know there's so much more there for you. Like, I feel it. I feel it. And I usually don't feel much. Well, sometimes I feel a lot of terror and I'm coughing and I'm having fucking spiritual attacks when I'm reading these stories. But this one feels positive, feels very light, feels like there's something in store for you. So I can't wait to hear from you again, because I know I will. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Again, everything you need is in the QR code. If you'd like to write in the emails right here on your screen, please do not send anything to any of my professional emails or my DM. I'm more than likely not going to see it. I like to keep everything very organized in a way. So again, send everything to this email. Please proofread, keep them anonymous. Thank you again for being here. Check out the other channels, check out the other content, and of course, follow me on Instagram for more content. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Get that merchandise, babes. Okay, I'm sure there's something in the shop that you're gonna like. And I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye.